it took a while for me to realize that people were actually looking at my pictures. But then when I did, it was overwhelming when I realized it. I remember I was going through customs in New York, and in the queue like I normally was. And because I was going there probably every 2 weeks, because I was doing Victoria's Secret, amongst other things. So I was there a lot. And then one day customs went, "Oi, you, Vicky's Secret girl, get over here." And I was just like, oh my God, everybody's seen me in my underwear. That was the defining moment when I realized that people were actually seeing me. Not only seeing me, but in my underwear. It was crazy, actually, because I never intended to be a model at all. Long story short, when I was about 17, met people in a pub, they threw me in an agency. I wanted to work in theatre and be a writer, and the next thing I knew, I was doing that. So I kind of dabbled in it, but the kind of the reaction from family and friends was like, that's not a real job. And so I thought, well, you know what? You put some fire in my belly. And so I went, okay, where's the best place to go? Paris. And that's what happened. So I had kind of a mini bit of experience, a few jobs here and there. I went to Paris with like determination of determinations. And luckily I met a wonderful booker called Didier Fernandez. And we kind of cooked up this plan. I said to my agency that I didn't need money. I was so poor. I mean, I had 3 dresses. And I said, I'm not going to do catalogue. All I need to do, and I had this lovely accent that my mother has blessed me with. I thank her for that to this day. So I was like this kind of totty English person going along. I said, I have money and I just want to do editorial. And they were kind of taken aback by that. So basically it was a combination of focus, a lot of effort, hard work, and a lot of determination. But all I can tell you is that between me and my booker one day, I called Didier and I said, okay, I have 11 castings tomorrow. Can you quickly, and I said quickly, poor guy, can you quickly call all of them and ask them what the storyline is and what character they're looking for, because of my background in theatre? And he did, bless him. And I went with a backpack. And for each and every casting, I changed my hair, a little bit of makeup, even my clothes and my attitude. And at the end of the day, I got all 11 castings. I got all the jobs.
Wow.
And my agency were like, and that was it. This is why I believe things went quite quickly, because it was from that. It was Joyce magazine, 18 pages. It was Elle, 11 pages. I was on the cover of Vogue within months. And I was just going, what? I know I had to prove a point, but yeah, that was, but it didn't come easy. It was a hard slog. I mean, I said yes to every single casting and job for that, in that arena. Montana, okay, did his campaign. I did lots of lovely designer shows regularly, but I'd done his campaign. And you do fittings till 2 o'clock in the morning. You have 4 hours sleep. And then you get up the next day trying to look fresh to do your 3 or 4 shows. Anyway, so I go for the fitting, and this French guy goes, bonsoir, and he takes the poitrine, oh, mais c'est parfait, and my waist, oh, mais c'est incroyable. And he gets to my hips and he goes, no, get out. I looked at him, I was like, and in French, I was like, excuse me, why? He goes, you are too big on your hips. And I said, oh, how much? And he took a tape measure and he said, comme ça. I mean, it was a centimeter, comme ça. And because I knew Montana and the team, I took confidence. I took the tape measure and I gently pushed him to one side. I opened the door and I went into the next room and I said, good evening, Mr. Montana. I'm afraid I can't do your show. And he's like, oh, mais non, mais pourquoi? Why can't you do the show? I said, because your guy in there, he says my hips are too fat by this much.
That must have been quite the scene after that. I can see.
Quite the scene. I mean, I got booked forever after that. The whole, because with Montana, it's like every designer has their way of doing the fittings. It was like a judgment board. There'd be him and this one and that one and that one. And he looked at me, he goes, my darling, I will make everything fit for you. And I said, thank you. Helmut Newton, the first time I went to see him, I was very young. And I say young, probably my first year of modeling, just after the Vogue. And he met me and I was sitting a little bit lower than him and I felt like a 10-year-old. And he just looked at me and he goes, dear sweet child, please come back in 3 years when you have a bit more oomph to you. And he didn't forget me. He booked me and booked me and booked me. He saw I had the whatever he was looking for. I know what he was looking for. I got the oomph and then we had some fantastic jobs together. So